So we understand how search engines work, the process that they go through, and what we can expect to see on a web page. But what is SEO, and why is it important? SEO is, of course, search engine optimization, and it's about how we optimize our websites to take into account how search engines work, how they rank pages, and what we can do to change our websites to improve how we rank in natural search. In Search Catalyst, we break that down to three main areas represented by the pillars here. Accessibility, which is how search engines actually access the data on your website. Relevancy, which is how they interpret the data that they find, the content, how they consider what keywords that content is relevant for. And finally, the credibility, which is more about the links and how credible a source they regard your website to be. So, firstly, why is SEO so important? We can see here, it might not be clear in this lighting, you have a search engine results page here with mapped on top of it an eye tracking heat map. What this shows is when this result page was shown to a large number of users, where they looked on that page. We can see that generally people tend to look naturally at the very top of the page. In particular, as you can see along the left, it tends to be hotter. So the first few keywords, people generally looking at the top results, looking at the first keywords. If it matches what they think, what they're looking for, then they'll presumably choose that. If not, that's when they move down to the next result, see if those few words match their query. In this case, only a few users have looked over to the right for the paid search results, and not many look too far down the page. This emphasises the need to generally rank as high as we possibly can. This is emphasised also by this data. This is click-through rate data, so what this graph shows is when users do a search, what position, what ranking they tend to click on. Along the bottom you have your positions on page 1, these are your natural search positions from 1 to 10, and along the vertical axis on the left, the percentage that users click through on that particular position. Each different coloured bar represents a different study. So you can see just how comprehensive this data is, how it's been pervasive over many studies. You can see generally, for example, position 1 tends to attract around 40% of clicks. So when users search for a particular query, around 40% generally click on position 1. This immediately drops to around 15% for position 2 and generally tapers off towards the end of the page. Naturally, different verticals have sort of different demographics searching them, different demographics have different search behaviours, and in addition, different types of keywords encourage different click-through patterns. So you'd see, for example, brand keywords, people almost always looking for that #1 result. More specific queries, people are generally much more prepared to scroll down and go onto the second page perhaps. But in general, you can see the importance of ranking as high as you possibly can. In the UK, search engine market share is heavily weighted towards Google, has around 90% of UK searches are performed on Google. However, towards the end of this year, early next year, Q1 next year I believe, Bing should be powering organic searches on Yahoo. They currently do this in the US and this should roll out to the UK very soon. And what we would then see is that proportion that's currently split between Yahoo and Bing, therefore consolidated under that one algorithm. And therefore there'll be a lot more focus on Bing in the future. I don't know if any of you have seen Bing doing quite a wide sort of marketing campaign at the moment. There are TV adverts going out. They're really looking at trying to improve their market share. So we expect them to increase this in the near future.